When you're trying to lose weight, there are a few things you hear over and over again: eat enough protein, stay in a calorie deficit, and keep up with your workouts. And honestly, that sounds pretty straightforward. But here's something we don't always think about. Does it actually matter where your protein comes from? You can get protein from chicken, eggs, fish, or Greek yogurt. Or you can grab a scoop of protein powder, mix it into a shake, and get a similar amount of protein in a matter of seconds. On paper, they might look pretty similar, but once they enter your body, are they really doing the same thing? And when your goal is to lose fat while keeping calories under control, could one actually work better for you than the other? Here is where it gets interesting. Gram for gram, protein powder isn't a secret fat-burning shortcut. In fact, when calories and total protein are matched, there is little evidence that getting your protein from powder produces better fat loss than getting it from whole foods. Yet millions of people drink 1 or 2 shakes a day, believing they are automatically making their diet more effectively, to find themselves hungry again sooner than expected. So, is protein powder actually helping you lose weight? Or could relying on it too heavily make your calorie deficit harder to maintain? It is easy to see why protein shakes became a mainstream health staple. They are fast, convenient, relatively low in calories, and easy to consume when you are rushing out the door. For many people, a shake can make hitting a high daily protein target much easier. But convenience isn't the same thing as a fat loss advantage. To understand why, we have to look at how your body responds to protein in different forms. When you eat solid protein like chicken, eggs, fish, tofu, or Greek yogurt, you are consuming it as part of a larger food structure. You have to chew it, digest it, and process it over time. Solid meals can also influence gastric emptying and appetite-related signals in ways that may support more sustained fullness. These effects involve several signals involved in appetite regulation, including hormones such as GLP-1 and peptide YY. Liquid protein is different. A protein shake requires little chewing and can be consumed in seconds. Depending on the drink's volume, composition, and thickness, it may provide less physical volume and less eating time than a conventional meal. For some people, that can mean the feeling of fullness doesn't last as long. And this distinction matters when you are trying to lose fat, because weight loss ultimately depends heavily on maintaining a calorie deficit. The best protein source isn't simply the one with the most protein. It is the one that helps you hit your protein target while keeping you satisfied enough to stick with your diet. But what about metabolism? Protein does have a relatively high thermic effect of food, meaning your body uses energy to digest, absorb, and process it. Roughly 20 to 30% of the energy contained in protein may be used during these processes. However, this doesn't mean chicken automatically burns significantly more calories during digestion than whey protein, simply because chicken requires more chewing or comes in a less processed form. The bigger advantage of whole foods is usually not some hidden metabolic bonus. It is the combination of protein with the rest of the food matrix: volume, texture, water, fiber in some foods, and other nutrients that can make a meal more satisfying and nutritionally complete. So, does this mean protein powder is ineffective for weight loss? Not at all. When total calories and total protein are matched, protein powder does not appear to provide a special fat loss advantage over protein-rich whole foods. But it can still be extremely useful because of one major benefit: calorie efficiency. Many protein isolates can provide around 20 to 25 grams of high-quality protein for roughly 100 to 120 calories, depending on the product. That can be incredibly useful when you are trying to maintain a calorie deficit. Imagine you need a high daily protein intake while keeping calories under control. Getting every gram of protein from whole foods is absolutely possible, but it may require more meal preparation, more planning, and sometimes more calories depending on the foods you choose. A protein shake can simply fill the gap, and that is where protein powder makes the most sense. It is not a fat-burning supplement. It is a convenient protein delivery system. However, relying on shakes too heavily can introduce practical problems. Because liquid protein usually takes less time and effort to consume than a solid meal, some people may find it less satisfying. Research comparing liquid and solid foods suggests that liquid calories can sometimes produce weaker or shorter-lasting satiety, although individual responses vary. That means a shake that looks perfect on paper 25 grams of protein and only 120 calories might not feel as satisfying as a complete meal containing protein, vegetables, potatoes, whole grains, or other high-volume foods. And if that shake leaves you searching through the kitchen an hour later, those saved calories may not actually stay saved. There is another issue: nutrient density. Whole foods provide much more than protein. Depending on the food, they can also provide fiber, vitamins, minerals, healthy fats, and other beneficial compounds that protein powder does not provide in the same way. Some powders can also cause bloating or digestive discomfort, particularly in people who are sensitive to lactose, certain sweeteners, or other ingredients used in specific products. This doesn't make protein powder unhealthy. It simply means that a shake shouldn't automatically replace every protein-rich meal in your diet. So what is the scientific verdict? Protein powder can absolutely be part of an effective weight loss diet, but its real advantage is convenience and not superior fat burning. If you are an athlete trying to maintain a high protein intake during a calorie deficit, someone with a busy schedule, or simply a person who struggles to reach your protein target through food alone, protein powder can be a practical tool. On the other hand, if you struggle with appetite control, find liquid meals less satisfying, or experience digestive discomfort from certain powders, replacing more whole food meals with shakes may not be the best strategy for you. And if you have chronic kidney disease or have been advised to monitor your protein intake for medical reasons, your protein target should be individualized with guidance from a qualified healthcare professional. The practical approach is simple: make whole, protein-rich foods the foundation of your diet, and use protein powder to fill the gaps when convenience, calorie control, or your daily protein target makes it useful. Think of protein powder as a tool, not a shortcut. Whole foods give you the structure, variety, and nutrients that make a diet sustainable. Protein powder simply makes it easier to hit the numbers when life gets busy, because at the end of the day, total daily protein helps build the foundation. Smart timing and convenient supplements can make the process easier, but they don't replace the foundation itself. So, if protein powder isn't secretly burning more fat, what about the drinks people consume that contain almost no calories at all? Could artificial sweeteners be affecting your appetite, metabolism, or weight loss progress in ways you don't expect? Let's look at what the clinical evidence actually says.